Once upon a time, there was a little rabbit named Hoppel who lived in a peaceful village on the edge of the forest. Hoppel was known for his long ears, nimble paws, and incredible speed. Every year, he won the big rabbit race in the village, and everyone knew that Hoppel was the fastest rabbit far and wide. One day, Hoppel heard an incredible piece of news spreading throughout the forest. On the highest peak of Thunder Mountain grew a very special carrot, the magic carrot. This carrot was not only enormous, but could also grant any wish. Whoever managed to reach the carrot could choose one wish. Hoppel immediately knew that he had to find the carrot, but he wasn't the only one. The other animals in the forest were also fascinated by the magic carrot, and soon they decided to organize a big race to reach it. Who would be the first to get to the magic carrot? As the day of the race approached, Hoppel started training diligently. Every morning, he got up early, jumped over rocks, ran through meadows, and climbed small hills. "I will be the fastest," he kept telling himself. But Hoppel wasn't the only one preparing for the race. Mia, the little mouse, was also ready to give her best. "I may be small, but I'm quick and can slip through anywhere," she thought. The squirrel Flip, on the other hand, was gathering nuts and twigs. "You never know when you might need something," he said mysteriously. The turtle Timo, who was actually the slowest of all, simply lay in the sun and didn't let himself get stressed. "Why rush?" he said to the other animals. "It's more important to be smart than fast." On the day of the race, all the animals gathered at the starting point. Hoppel stretched. Mia trembled with excitement. Flip balanced on his tail, and Timo smiled contentedly. The beaver Bob, who was moderating the race, raised his paw and shouted, "On your marks, get set, go!" Immediately, all the animals took off. Hoppel shot forward like an arrow. Mia followed closely behind. Flip jumped gracefully from tree to tree, and Timo trotted leisurely behind. "I have time," mumbled Timo as he chewed on a leaf. After a while, the animals reached the first obstacle. A wide, raging river blocked their way. Hoppel bravely jumped in, but the current almost swept him away. "Oh dear, this is harder than I thought," he panted as he tried to swim to the other shore. Mia, the clever mouse, spotted a narrow log bridge and scurried across. "Only a little mouse can fit through here," she giggled. Flip, the smart squirrel, quickly gathered some twigs and built himself a small raft. "It's good to be prepared," he whispered proudly and paddled to the other side. Timo, however, found a big leaf, climbed on it, and floated along comfortably. While the other animals hurried, he hummed a tune to himself and enjoyed the ride across the river. As soon as the animals reached the other shore, they went straight into a dense, dark forest. It was so dark here that you could hardly see your own paw in front of your eyes. Hoppel ran quickly, but didn't see the many roots on the ground and stumbled. "Ouch!" he cried, holding his sore foot. "This is not as easy as I thought." Mia used her small size and slipped skillfully through tiny gaps between the trees. Flip jumped from branch to branch again, but suddenly saw an old owl with a huge hat sitting on a branch. "Watch where you're jumping," warned the owl. "There are many traps in the forest." Flip nodded gratefully and swung on skillfully. Timo, the turtle, simply followed the sounds of the other animals. "Why should I hurry?" he said. In the end, every path leads to the carrot. Finally, the animals reached the foot of Thunder Mountain. But it was steep, slippery, and full of sharp rocks. Hoppel ran off but kept slipping. Mia climbed bravely, but her little paws had trouble holding on. Flip jumped from stone to stone, but also began to wobble. It looked as if none of them would make it. But then Timo appeared. "This is not that hard," he said, smiling, and slowly but surely climbed the mountain step by step. His thick shell protected him from the rough path. The other animals watched in amazement as Timo worked his way up with calm movements. But you're so slow," Hoppel called out in confusion. "Slow but steady," Timo replied calmly. "It's not about how fast you are, but about not giving up." And indeed, Timo was the first to reach the top of the mountain and stood before the glowing magic carrot. The other animals came panting after him and could hardly believe it. "You won," they cheered. "What will you wish for?" Timo thought for a long time. Finally, he smiled and said, "I wish for us all to have a feast where everyone has enough to eat." At that moment, the magic carrot began to glow, and suddenly, juicy carrots, crunchy nuts, and sweet berries grew everywhere. The animals cheered and celebrated together until nightfall. And so, they learned that it's not always about speed, but about friendship, patience, and the willingness to never give up. And if they're not racing again, they might still be celebrating today.